All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that almost everything you've been taught about anxiety is, well, wrong? Seriously, what if the goal isn't to get rid of it, but to actually use it? We're going to dive into some really groundbreaking work from Harvard expert Dr. David Rosmarin that's going to completely flip the script on how we see this feeling we all have. And this, right here, this is it. This is the root of the entire problem. It's this single belief that's been wired into us since we were kids, by our parents, our teachers, our culture, this idea that if you feel anxious, you're broken, that something's wrong with you. And it's that very myth that's making all of us more anxious. So here's our big mistake. We've taken a completely normal human emotion and we've over-medicalized it. We've turned it into a disease. And this isn't just some small misunderstanding, it's actually fueling the whole anxiety epidemic we're seeing today. And look, why this matters is simple. When you misdiagnose the problem, you end up using the wrong solution, and that just makes everything worse. Think about it this way. The moment you feel those first jitters, the sweaty palms, the racing thoughts, what's your first reaction? For most of us, it's to judge ourselves, to try and shove it down. Dr. Rosmarin says this is basically like having an allergic reaction to your own feelings. And what happens? Your system just gets flooded with even more adrenaline, creating this awful cycle that makes the anxiety spike. So, let's get on the same page. What even is anxiety? Well, Dr. Rosmarin breaks it down into these three parts. First, you've got the cognitive part. That's the worry, the what-if thoughts spinning in your head. Then there's the physiological. That's your body's response, the upset stomach, the fast breathing. And finally, the behavioral part, which is what we do about it, usually trying to avoid whatever's making us feel that way. Understanding these pieces is the first step to changing our relationship with it. Okay, so now for the big idea, the one that changes everything. What if we stopped thinking of anxiety as an enemy we have to fight? What if we started seeing it as an ally, as a resource? I know, it sounds kind of radical, but stick with me. Now, this is a really, really crucial distinction. There's a huge difference between normal anxiety and clinical anxiety. Normal anxiety is that nervousness you feel before a big speech or a first date. You know what that is? It's a signal that you care. Clinical anxiety, on the other hand, is the kind that gets in the way of your life. It disrupts your sleep, your work, your relationships. The huge mistake we make as a society is we lump them all together, treating every flutter of nervousness like it's a major disease. Dr. Rosmarin even uses this simple 1 to 9 scale to make it clearer. Think of anything in that 7 to 9 range as the red zone. It's disruptive, it's persistent, and you probably need to talk to a professional. But that middle range, the 4 to 6, that's often just situational. It might even be the sweet spot that makes you sharper, that gives you the edge during a big moment. See, not all anxiety is created equal. And this right here, this is the core reframe. The next time you feel that nervous energy buzzing before a job interview, don't immediately think, oh no, something's wrong with me. Try thinking of it like this. It's a sign that you're a healthy, engaged human being, and this thing in front of you actually matters. It's a feature of being human, not a bug in your system. Okay, so we've kind of taken apart the old, broken model, so now what? Well, let's build the new one. Dr. Rosmarin gives us a super simple but really powerful 4-step framework for working with our anxiety instead of constantly fighting it. Here it is. 4 steps. Identify, share, embrace, and let go. So identify is about asking, okay, what's really going on here? What's underneath this surface level worry? Then share. This is huge. You talk about it with someone you trust. You break that feeling of isolation, and that creates connection. Embrace? Yep, this is the tough one. It means moving towards the thing that scares you, gently, in small steps, to prove to your brain that you can handle it. And finally, let go. This is about radical acceptance of the things you just can't change, which frees up so much energy. And when we talk about that first step, identify, Dr. Rosmarin shares this incredible insight from his work. He says that when you really dig down, past the worries about your job or a party or whatever, so often you find the exact same fear at the very bottom. The deep, human fear of being alone. All right, so theory is great, but what does this actually look like in real life? Let's take a look at how this framework can totally change how we react in those small, everyday moments of anxiety. Let's use an example pretty much everyone can relate to, whether you're a parent or you just remember being a kid. So a child is super anxious about going to a sleepover. Our first instinct, our gut reaction, is often the absolute worst thing we could do. This is what we usually do, right?
We either just dismiss it, oh, you'll be fine, or we give in and accommodate it. Okay, you don't have to go. But either way, the message we're sending is crystal clear. Your feeling is a problem, and you're not strong enough to handle it. And that just makes the anxiety stronger next time.
But what if we tried this instead? What if we just got curious? This one simple, non-judgmental question, tell me more about it, changes everything. It validates the feeling. It says, hey, what you're feeling makes sense, and I'm right here with you to figure it out. It opens the door.
And this is the magic principle behind that better response. The goal isn't to lecture them or fix them. The goal is just to connect. Because that connection, that feeling of not being alone with your fear, that's what actually builds resilience. It's connection over correction. So, as we start to bring this all home, what are we really aiming for here? If the goal isn't to completely get rid of anxiety, then what's the prize? What's the whole point? Let's be perfectly 100% clear. The goal is not zero anxiety. A life with zero anxiety would be a life where you don't care about anything, where you have no goals, no ambitions. It's not realistic, and it's not even desirable. Chasing zero is just a trap that keeps you fighting a battle you're not supposed to win. No, the real goal is resilience. It's about building up that emotional strength, that fortitude, to thrive not in the absence of anxiety, but right alongside it. It's about getting to a place where you know, deep down, that when the feeling shows up, you can handle it. That's real confidence. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The path to getting stronger isn't paved with avoiding discomfort. It's by actually walking into it, by experiencing the anxiety and learning from it, that we discover our own strength. And, as Dr. Rosmarin says, we find the precious gifts that our anxiety might actually be trying to show us. So I'll just leave you with this final question. The next time you feel that knot in your stomach or that worry spinning in your head, instead of pushing it away, just get curious for a second. Ask yourself, what if this isn't a monster I need to slay? What if it's a messenger? What is my anxiety trying to tell me?